And yeah, these two are kind of the quintessential matchup that so many players wanted to see in 2021. So much so that they literally built the BlizzCon brackets with the hope that these two would meet in the finals. So when these two finally started to clash, it has been so fun to see because these two are still considered some of the top representatives of their respective races in the world. Now, obviously, MARU did have his injury, and we have seen some change-ups to the meta, but overall, this is still going to be an epic back and forth. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Right now, we just have SERRAL kind of scouting around. He does know that MARU enjoys the proxy a little bit, so just sending that Overlord out just to make sure. SERRAL, though, is just going to play this one a little bit more straight up, I'd imagine. And he's just going to get that Reaper out, get some scouting information, and kind of go from there. I don't really see him doing anything too crazy on 2,000 atmospheres because it is a little bit of a awkward rush distance, or an awkward path for your units. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything like early 3-gate or 3 racks. We're definitely not going to see early 3-gate. But, yeah, nothing like a 3 racks push. Nothing like a Hellbat all-in, I'd imagine. Just going to play it straight up, as we do have the Reaper. Just going to get a couple pokes here and there, but SERRAL will not lose a unit. Very good micro right there. Command Center. So now this Reaper will kind of just rotate around. From what I saw, we do have the Hellion production starting up pretty soon. Now, SERRAL, it looks like, is going to play this one to one of his strengths, going for that Roach Warren very early on. So we will have to keep an eye on that drone count if he does decide to just cut drones and go for that big, aggressive roast push early on. And now, I'm not against the roaches. We see roaches have a lot of utility, a lot of power in that early game, but against a macro style player, against a player who can kind of stay even with you, like what MARU can do with this 3rd CC, you kind of put yourself into a timer. As in, those roaches, they will not scale as well versus that bioproduction. They will not really help you out a lot in the late game. So you will have to transition a lot in order to kind of stay alive past the 10-11 minute mark. So yeah, it looks like SERRAL just wants to put on a lot of pressure here with these units, as he's got 10 out on the field, as he's got 9 out on the field. And they are going to be able to catch the Hellions, get the Reaper, but this is going to give MARU a lot of response time here. Double bunker going down. And all he has is Hellions right now. That Liberator, though, should help out quite a bit. So let us see here. I don't think this is going to be enough to end the game, but it's definitely going to put a lot of pressure on MARU here, as the Roach is just going to jump on top of this. The bunker's not going to be able to finish. There are no Ravagers, so the Liberator is a godsend here. But honestly, with how much SERRAL has committed to this, 4 workers just definitely isn't worth it for himself. And look at that. MARU does hold on pretty significantly here with minimal losses. So now SERRAL gonna have to play a little bit of catch-up here, getting those Evo chambers down, just to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind in terms of those upgrades. He's got to make sure to get those up pretty soon. And now the Vikings going to go for a little bit of scouting himself. The Liberator as well, just going to try and put a little counter pressure on. That should be shooed away by the Queen. It is indeed. But hey, looks like he's going to be sticking with that roach tech here. So one of the bigger strengths of roaches is that you can transition to the hive a little bit faster than you otherwise might. So yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye out for that hive timing as well. But once again, it looks like he's just going to go straight back in to this big swell of roaches, only on 67 drones. That is very, very aggressive here. And with the kind of numbers that he's now able to push out, he might just be able to kill MARU here, since MARU hasn't taken his third base yet. He was still a little bit delayed in taking it, even though he did have it for so much longer. Queen just going to be able to shoo this away. The Spore Crawler running around. It is not speedy enough to catch the Liberator unsieging. And, you know, to his credit, MARU has been very passive in this game. After that first couple of Hellions across the map, he still hasn't really had any sort of committed aggression. So this is kind of his first big foray on to the other side of the map, and it's instantly going to get scouted here. But it looks like that's not really going to hurt SERRAL too much. He already sees that. He's going to link up the Queens, get a couple of roaches, and just go for the power. The siege tank's not in position to help this out, so he will have to evacuate the base. Taking a couple of big shots. He does want to get rid of that siege tank at the top of the ramp. But so far, he's making some good headway. Now, SERRAL is just going to play it very aggressive right now. Gets 10 workers so far. Has to get rid of that high ground vision in the Overseer if he wants to stand a chance. He is taking a lot of damage here. That was a mistake. Just went way too far forward. And, yeah, MARU will be able to hold this on now. Much, much simpler. A little bit worried for SERRAL right now. He is putting so much into this that I don't know if he's going to be able to finish things out here. The SCVs are pulled to help defending, but with the siege tank fighting in the top, MARU able to kind of cut through a lot of these roaches. And yeah, I feel like, you know what? MARU is down to about 90 supply, which is still a significant disadvantage. He still isn't able to take his third base either. So we got to consider that. But as that siege tank count starts to rise, it just becomes really difficult for SERRAL to be able to break through here. So SERRAL, if he wants to do something, he's going to have to do it now. But MARU, seeing the fact that he is still committing to this, he's going to have to pull those medevacs back if he wants to hope for it. But the siege tanks are in position. A couple of beautiful connections right there. And SERRAL is just kind of slowing himself down. Is he building any more siege tanks? He is not at the moment. So here we go. He gets on top of one of the siege tanks. Gets the one on the high ground. But he has taken so much fire to do it. The SCVs are pulled once again. This attack is starting to peter out. 17 more workers have gone down. The mules are going to have to help out quite a bit. But it looks like that is enough for SERRAL. As we have spawning in the top right position to get game number 2 underway. Give it up for SERRAL. And his opponent down here in the bottom right. Down one game, needs to battle his way back. Give it up for MARU. And yeah, SERRAL He definitely hit a good timing there. He definitely, like, I won't take anything away from his attack. But let's see if he can do this one in kind of the same way here. I think MARU, he was a bit passive last game. And we saw that how that kind of allowed SERRAL into a good position very early on. He wasn't taking a lot of damage. He wasn't having to rebuild any of those drones. So that really allowed him to just hit the timing a lot easier. So while I don't think MARU should just go balls to the wall, super aggressive, super deadly, he does need to put some pressure on a little bit quicker if he wants to kind of stop SERRAL. You can kind of see as well, SERRAL keeping his overlords a little bit closer to home. So he is kind of just expecting the proxy. Even if he doesn't find it, it's still okay to kind of keep these around. It does take away a little bit of map vision around the map. But, I mean, SERRAL, he can react pretty well, so I don't think he's going to be too worried about that. Now catch sight of that Reaper. We'll see that it's on its way, so he knows nothing too crazy is coming his way, as that is the normal timing for it. And so he's just going to keep these links in position, ready to go. The Queen is not out yet, but the Reaper does get baited forward. Nothing too crazy, just going to get the Queen to finish things off. The Reaper will get out of there. And now SERRAL taking the more aggressive third base position, as that will allow him to kind of rotate in to the potential third of MARU a lot easier here. You can kind of see that path. Not the longest distance. So now MARU once again going to go for that third CC very early on. This is super economic focused here for the Terran player. It allows you to stay even with your Zerg opponent here, but it does delay your additional ranks just slightly, as you do spend a little bit more kind of building up that economy with the SCVs, with the extra orbital. But now SERRAL does get in here. He gets his first big glimpse into the fact that nothing crazy going to be coming out. He does see the tech lab on the barracks, so that does tell him that Stim should start here relatively soon. And once again, he sees the Vikings, so he might be thinking, okay, just like last game, he'll probably go for the Liberator behind this. This time we don't see that Roach Warren. We see him just droning up very aggressively right now and dropping the Baneling Nest, so a bit more of a standard build here. Just going to stick with the Ling Bane for the meantime. Lair as well on the way. That Hellion count is getting nice and healthy here. So let's see how he is able to utilize these. One thing I'm noticing as well is that SERRAL does not have an Evo chamber, while MARU has completed his wall with his evolution, or excuse me, the engineering base. So MARU will be able to kind of take advantage of that upgrade lead just slightly, but here we go. SERRAL doesn't have a ton of units here. He's going to have to rely on the Queens to shoo this away. Kind of a big explosion here from MARU as well. He's going to get 4 additional racks. Stim is started up in +1 so much quicker. But now the Hellions do get baited in there and surrounded, but they are having to fight up that ramp, so they will be able to get rid of a lot of the Lings, as well as 5 workers going down to the Liberator in the main. So overall, just a very good double prong, but I don't know if getting 10 workers is going to be worth it for what he put into it. Okay, now it's a little bit better because he got 11. But this is kind of what MARU was trying to do in the last game. Set up these little bits of double prong, slow SERRAL down, and kind of force him into that uncomfortable position. And it's really helping him out a lot here, as he hasn't really taken a lot of damage himself. The SCV's not in location, so they will not care about this small Ling run by. While SERRAL is going to be replacing a lot of those drones. I think MARU has a lot more room to kind of dance around now with what little units he has. Did he lose the Liberator? He did. First foray into creep. They're going to get rid of a lot of that. That's going to be kind of crucial. As if you can get that spread, it can get to your third base very, very quickly. Just adding on a couple of additional. He's sitting on 73 workers, which is kind of that sweet spot where he can just kind of power up, make tons of Lings, tons of Banes. We don't see any Hydralisks yet, even though the den is down. Wait a second. Uh-oh, MARU is kind of handicapping himself a little bit. He does not have an the armory down just yet. Only just now started, so SERRAL's gonna start to come ahead in terms of those upgrades. Man, these Lings are gonna be super hard to kill. Even now, MARU just gonna pick up and get out of there. Doesn't want to throw these units away. That would be pretty bad, as he's kind of just powering up behind it. He's got a nice defensive position with some siege tanks. But we'll lift up again. SERRAL is supply block, losing that Overlord for just a couple of seconds. And now kind of taking scope of it. SERRAL on his 5th base. He's got a 6th right up here, ready to go. He's not really taking any damage to these anymore, as he is keeping the queens in position, making it so that MARU has to pick up a lot earlier than I believe he would like to. And now he can go up to hive really unabated, as he will have that upgrade advantage. He will have all of these upgrades ready to go. Gonna be going into lurkers here relatively soon, as MARU taking his own 4th base. There is a burrowed Ling right there, so he's gonna have to recognize that soon. So now MARU is transitioning. He's gonna start to add on those additional Marauders just to soak up a lot of those Baneling hits. Oh, that could have been hilariously bad for MARU. But he does spot the Banelings burrowing. And now we see SERRAL going for what looks to be a very spread out multi-prong attack. And here we go. The Banelings taking up the rear with the Lings, soaking up a lot of those Widow Mines and Siege Tank fire. They will get about 11 workers for their trouble, and will get out of there with majority of those Banelings. But that is a lot of lost mining time for MARU. Looks like a little bit of friendly fire damage as well. So overall, a very good attack from SERRAL, as he will be adding on the Lurker Den soon, I'd imagine. Yeah, there we go. So the Wood Mines aren't really able to get the best of connections. It's kind of having to utilize them on the Lings in the front. No time to focus fire on the Banes. But I do like how he's attempting to get rid of these creep spread with these units, because you can kind of see how far forward it's going, and now the Queen's going to go down. That is a lot of that creep spread not going to be remade. Good fight right there from MARU. He gets to get rid of a lot of those Lings and Banes, but he still has to contend with all of these harassments coming around. He does have his +3 started, but it's going to be very far behind SERRAL's own +3 defense. One Mine's going to help to clean that one up, but I think he lost some more Marauders here. Adrenal Gland's going to be coming in, so these Lings just going to take a lot more chances to kill off these bio. The problem is SERRAL really isn't walking in to the Widowmine fire like he might, MARU might like. The Baneling connection's really good right there as well, so he will be able to clean that up. Viper might just get a parasitic bomb off, but unfortunately that is the empty medevac, so that will be able to escape with what's left. Losing the Queen, very nice. So now MARU needs to establish another base here soon. He's got to get up to 5. He does have the CC ready to go down here, so this is the side he wants to expose it to, but this is the side that SERRAL is putting the most pressure on. Another big attack right here. The Bane is going to take out the factory. And we'll get a lot of damage done on that CC. He's going to have to repair that soon. Looks like he will be able to get a Queen, but at what cost? As MARU is going to... he's going to try and stabilize and go to... a late game composition that he knows best. He's gonna add in a ton of ghosts to deal with the lurkers and try and stay back defensively with those siege tanks. But in doing so, he's gonna cede a lot of this map to SERRAL, as we see a big rotation around towards the established fort. The lurker's just gonna burrow right on top of it, and that unfortunately is not gonna get saved here. Does get a lot of the Vipers, though. That is nice. But unfortunately, he does lose a lot of the ghosts for that. And SERRAL can just back out of this position, feeling happy on what he's accomplished with another big attack over here. Oh, the spread is good, but SERRAL getting the most bang for his buck. 27 workers going down. And MARU's economy is going to start to falter here. He doesn't really have a lot of orbitals available to him. As we can see here, he has only 4. And so he's not going to be able to rely on the mules as much as he might like. Siege Tank's going to get some good fire down, but they will get cleaned up. Once again, the next fourth of MARU going to go down. He has to reestablish that position. It is literally do or die. But the fact that he's going to have to use an orbital to do it just means that position is so exposed. This is just getting worse and worse for MARU here. We can kind of see he's not able to re-expand, rebuild as quickly as SERRAL is able to remax. And so every single wave, every single attack is just getting more and more desperate. So MARU has to push out. He has to do something here. Unfortunately, getting a lot of Vikings, but there's nothing really too much in the sky. He's going to come in once again, gets a couple of additional workers. MARU getting greedy, trying to get 2 bases for the price of 1. Unfortunately, he's not even going to get his money back guarantee on this one, as once again, SERRAL going to push his way through. The Baneling hits are just absolutely massive here. The parasitic bomb on the sky. MARU, oh my goodness, so much damage done on those Vikings. The cloak is going to be enough to finish the cleanup. But at the same time, 28 more workers going down. He still is not mining over here. He's not mining over here. Just these 1 Zergling forcing the scans out. And you can kind of see MARU is broke. 2 minerals to his name. How much is the... Taking a look at the income tab. Yeah, 391. So every single unit that MARU loses, he will not be remaking anytime soon. And now kind of desperate into his situation. He's going to try and attack in. 1 siege tank is all he has down here. I won't even consider that a siege tank. That it has 10 health on it. But SERRAL, he doesn't even really need to engage this. He's only attacking with a portion of his army. Gonna just parade and dance on top of the corpse as we have what looks to be a GG situation here as the ghosts fall. That is gonna be it. SERRAL takes the game and he takes the series 2-0.